All right, what's up, everybody? This is the 10X Tuesday with Jeremy Forcier. The headline is Rocket Proofing Mortgage Careers with Jeremy Forcier. So, to open this up, you've got a poll. How rocket proof are you? And so far, out of the 127 people on this call, almost 50% of you have voted. Guys, let's get to 70% right now so we can kick this off. How rocket proof are you? So far, 5% have said I'm a five. Like, I'm nailing it. I'm rocket proof. 27% have said four. 44% have said three. 10% two. And guys, 13% of you are saying, no, I'm not rocket proof. So Jeremy, how would you have voted if you were one of the people voting on this?
I want to make sure I explain context of my voting system for myself. Okay. And so I think that I'd give myself a three. Uh, I'm probably more of a four in the context of what we're really saying, but there's so much room for improvement all the time that like I don't ever want to rate myself a five, etc. But I know that I'm doing a few things really well that is quote unquote rocket proofing, AI proofing, proofing. I'm doing a few things that like definitely have me set up in the right direction for that. I just don't think it's something you can ever stop attacking. It's something I can't ever stop attacking and getting better at because things change faster than ever right now from a technology standpoint, from an ease of use standpoint, and what people are looking for. So I'd give myself a three, but on a weighted bell curve, I'd say I'm about a four.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a five just because I'm gonna do it as though I'm a teacher, and I'm only going to give five, no more than 10% of the people an A, period. And weighted average. And you know what? Comparing to mortgage professionals in the country, you're a five. You're up there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's my score for you. And the people that I interview on this channel, I try to make sure they're fives. And it's not because I like they have mortgage coach, and I really don't think you like if you are not with every credit report you run giving more than here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your cash to close. If you are not showing them how a mortgage strategy will help solve their problems in a local and unique personalized way, you're not a five. So just you're probably not a four because delivering advice is absolutely one of the most important things that a local mortgage professional needs to do is coach at scale. If if you are not using video in various ways, you're not a five. You could probably be a four and not use video, but you can't be a five. Like if you're not like text video, bomb video, mortgage coach video, like if that's not part of what you do, and here's the deal: if you don't have a brand, like going forward, guys, like this is it. The only thing that matters is AI and your personal brand. Like if you do not have a personal brand, you are not a five, and you're probably not a four because we're getting to a point where a consumer could be talking to someone on a phone or on Zoom, and it would be indistinguishable whether that's a real person or whether that's an AI person. That's a machine. Like that's indistinguishable. So if you don't like, I'm Jeremy Forcier, Sonoma County, local badass expert that can meet you in person, that people know who he is, like you're not a five. So, so Jeremy, before we get into just your perspective on what does it mean to be rocket proof,
Yeah.
future proof, how are you doing in the market right now? Like, how is production? How's this year going to wrap up for you?
I would describe, so far this year and especially in the last 30, 45 days as like schizophrenic bipolar girlfriend or boyfriend. So that like that's I always try to make light of things that annoy me. And so I'm annoyed. Okay. Like if you guys are feeling annoyed, that's okay. I'm annoyed. It's very challenging is the truth. Um, I'll have weeks where we get, nine contracts, and then I'll have a week where I'll get two contracts, and then four of the nine fell out. And then so it feels like I feel busier than ever. Stickiness is an issue right now, at least in my marketplace. Like people canceling frequently. You know, Shopping is a bigger problem. honestly. And the reason why I think this is a bigger problem, because I've never really been shopped more than normal. I'd say 1 out of 4 is pretty typical for me, 25%, like a super shopper type situation. Right now, I do think it's elevated because we've been telling people for so long that interest rates are going to come down since May 10th, 2023. We've been saying that it's going to come down like huge, and it hasn't. And people are starting to feel that pinch and that pressure, right? They're tired of hearing that, hey, rates went up 0.25% last week again. And so I'm definitely seeing a lot of pressure on that side. Now, with that said, I'm still doing pretty good, man. We're still, closing an average over 8 million a month just from my personal little production. Team's doing really good, closed, 78 million last month. So like everything is moving forward for sure. But I will say we have to be better than ever at the advice that we give. We have to be sticky with our clients, like in a really, really major way. Face-to-face is mandatory. This is stuff that we teach in the core as well, like my coaching company that I'm a part of, like face-to-face, either in person in your office, at their house, or if you can Zoom, if that's like I Zoom a lot with clients, like that stuff is part of the rocket proofing that we'll talk about in a little bit, where I'm getting that feedback even from people. Yesterday, a new client was pre-approved with the pre-qual to the credit union, has their stuff into Rocket, but not formally, quote unquote, pre-approved yet. I hop on a Zoom with them yesterday, Dave, and they're like, this was so great. No one's taken the time to like explain all this stuff to us, to get on a video, to see face to face. So I think it's really challenging. All things considered, I'm doing well, doing okay. I'm hard on myself. I'm doing good in the marketplace. But stickiness is a really big problem right now for sure.
Do you think you'll do over 100 million this year?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna do that no matter what. That's not, I
Okay.
mean, so like even if, let's just say I don't for some reason, that is not in my mindset. Like I am gonna figure out a way to have a couple $25 million months between now and the end of the year, and I am going to absolutely do it because I've been using the acronym WIT, right? Like you have to have wit in this market, right? And I don't mean just being witty. I mean whatever it takes, right? So I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna have wit every day, every conversation, everything, anything that I can do to move the needle, I'm going to do for the rest of this year. So I think that, that could help a lot of you guys, is just write that down, keep it in front of you on your computer. WIT. I have it sitting right here in front of me, whatever it takes. That's my motto for the rest of the year.
I love that. I love that deal. And I asked that question because, guys, the mortgage industry and being a loan officer is still truly one of the best jobs in America, despite how difficult it's been. The top producers that are closing, heck, over 100 million, they're creating generational wealth for their families, making more money than most doctors and lawyers. And loan officers that are sustainable, closing 20, 30 million, really good money that a college education doesn't give you. So the mortgage industry is an incredible professional or profession, and with AI, it's going to continue to be an incredible profession, but not for everybody. Now here's the deal: the path to winning and being in the critical few, the people that are going to absolutely thrive going forward, has never been more clear. Like who I interview, what we do on this channel, the modern mortgage IQ community. If you haven't, gone through that assessment, go through it. Coaching programs like the core and other great coaching, like the path to winning it's clear, and the path to losing is absolutely clear. So, Jeremy, what are some of the things, being a core coach, being someone that not only has been coached but coached a lot of folks? What are some of the most important things to future-proof your business right now?
Yeah, well, number one is to like have a really good foundation of basics, you guys. And this isn't like new news, but I don't forget, but I know this because I see it. And I experienced it even like personally, is that we drift from the basics. And if you don't have like an absolutely killer foundation of basics and daily disciplines, it's going to be really hard to do all those extra things to scale your business and to be better. So when I talk about like just daily disciplines and a really good foundation, I'm talking about having really tight lists. And let's go a little bit further on the list. Like who you're going to call every day in a list that's ready so that and you can attack and you can move real quickly. if you have really dialed in list of past clients or old leads or current leads, pre-approved people, who's pre-qualified, who's pre-approved, who's in contract, you have to have all these separate lists. And that way on every different day of the week, you know exactly who you're going to call and for the purpose of what your call is. You can knock out so much more work and connection, so much more work and connection by having this really basic foundation of like, who am I going to call? Get really organized. Who are the 30 agents that I'm going to call, right? That I want to be in a relationship with? Who are the 5 big agents that I want to chase and go after, that I need to reach out, on a weekly basis? Who are all my past clients that I need to call and do annual mortgage reviews? Like we do 20 of those every single week, for example. Like having really tight lists, and I got a little sloppy on them. And I tightened them all up because I was coaching a student on it. I was like, you know what? I should relook at my list. Well, guess what? We drift. So having these really basic foundations is really important to be organized in all these different pillars of what makes up your business. And we want, like, the theme of that is to foster better connection, right? Foster better connection. That's why we need to have tight lists, know why we're calling, etc. Also, like, just making sure that you guys are looking at loan products every single week, reading guidelines. Guidelines are updating all the time, new products, new guidelines. I take 15 minutes a week, Dave, every single week just to review either a product I already think I know or a new product that's available out in the marketplace, and educate yourself on that. I think that the days of the loan officer that is really just a business development person and goes out and just grabs a lead, then tries to throw it into a processor and has them figure it out is over. Like, you have to be a technician. You have to know your stuff and know your guidelines so that you can communicate well, correctly, look for opportunities. You can't just throw stuff against the wall and hope it works out. That's how you lose massive credibility in a market like this.
And I want to call that out, being a technician, that is going to differentiate you from the call center loan officer. Like the Rockets will be very specialist. They'll have scripts. They'll know how to quote rates. They'll have competitive rates. They'll have great tech. They'll be getting to the consumer early because speed to need, they're monitoring their thing. But you know what? They're not going to be Jeremy Forcier, who's like really knows guidelines at a serious level, who has a daily call list and he's executing on that call list. And then when he gets to a consumer, he can interpret, hey, these are the guidelines, this is the market, these are your goals, and then can actually deliver a personalized strategy. Like,
Yep.
I just want to make sure that doesn't slip by everybody.
Yeah, 100%. So I think creating a great foundation of process is so important. Like, we all need to fall in love with the process again, not the payoff. Fall in love with the process. Like, what are we trying to create? If you guys have not read this book, I'm currently making all of my students read this book again right now. I've read it multiple times, called Raving Fans. Okay, it's an old book, but this is what the differentiator is between, like, rocket proofing your business and not. And this book is just all about how you create a unique experience in your business, white glove service, going the extra mile, how you stand out in people's minds. It's a branding book. It's not really a branding book, but it is to me. It's like, this is how you build like a unique brand that is servant leadership focused, right? How do we serve the client on the highest level that's going to make us stand out and be different from the noise of everyone else doing the same thing?
How important is the actual point of sale mortgage coach experience going forward, to deliver a mortgage coach total cost analysis?
10, 10 out of 10. I mean, there's not even a question. I mean, was that a question?
Well,
Was
I
that?
would tell you everybody on this call is not necessarily doing it. And a lot of loan officers still don't, they take shortcuts. They're not doing it. So yeah, we've
Listen,
talked
you
about it
guys.
before.
Hey, let me talk specifically to all of you that are not using it. Okay. You have to. This is the easiest way to stand out. This is the easiest and fastest way to stand out. And it's easy to learn. Like, I have people that have Mortgage Coach, and They go, hey, do you recommend using more? I get calls every week, Dave. Do you recommend using Mortgage Coach? You know, I see, well, of course I do. You see me 100 million times on you. Yes, I am Mr. I'm going to get a tattoo that says MC all day, right? Like, so it's just, yes, you have to use it, not just from a differentiation standpoint, but you want to talk about pre-qualifying people in 2 minutes on the phone. You can do that in here without even taking an app. You can have real conversations with people. And that's where I am at point of sale. When I'm talking to individuals and I'm taking notes, I have Mortgage Coach open and I'm running stuff half the time for them. And I'm like, hey, yeah, look, it sounds like everything's going to be great because if your debt's this and here, yeah, I ran it. Here's what your numbers look like. It is unbelievable. So I think that we all need to embrace it. It's the easiest, it's the best. So when you get easy and best together, by the way, it's a no-brainer. Like, so yes, every single time, point of sale, always, and using it multiple times with people over and over again. I think that's something we miss too. A question I get a lot of times, Dave, is, so when do you send it out? Like I send it out once, right? That's what they like. When do you send it out to someone? And I'm like, well, send it out every time they want to write an offer. I send it out like when they call me and have a question that, hey, I saw this loan program. I know we're already pre-approved and they already got one, a mortgage coach. Like I'll redo it with the other program or I'll add the program in that they don't qualify for. And I'll walk them through why they don't qualify for it, but I'll still show them the actual program they don't qualify for that they were asking about. So it's a really easy way for people to not feel intimidated. They get to watch it on their own time. And then when they have questions, going live with it and changing numbers in front of them, you want to talk about like a matrix moment. People freak out all the time. I'm like, hey, do you have it up in front of you? They're like, yeah. I go, okay, let's just increase the down payment by 15,000. Let's see what happens. And they're like, oh my God, are you changing this right in front of me? Like that's a differentiator in itself, being able to show people in real time that you are on it, you are professional, you are transparent. It's by far the best tool that's been ever created in the mortgage space.
So, and the best tool that's ever been created is getting better. This Thursday, we're going to be doing a webinar where we unleash our AI feature. So
Sick.
this is what it looks like, where the consumer can go in here. What is the best loan option if I'm going to live in the home for 5 years? And boom, AI will add it up. This is currently in alpha. Um, what are the closing costs and cash to close on option three? Well, I stopped recording too soon. Uh, what's the best cash to close option? And so, by the way, Jeremy, how do you like that feature for the consumer? And by the way, you as the loan officer too, like what I just showed is on the loan officer side and on the consumer side, like a question like, what is the equity on two option two in 36 months? Boom. What are your thoughts?
Dude, it's ridiculous. And this is where our industry is going. So it's so great that you are ahead of the curve, innovating and providing this to all of us. Like I can't wait to play around with it. That looks absolutely incredible. I mean, your chat GPT hacking your TCAs. Like it's literally unbelievable. Now, what's cool about this too, you guys, something just popped into my head, Dave, when I was taking a look at that, when you were walking through it, is imagine this, that you can send a TCA to your customer and you can play with it for an hour or two beforehand, not every TCA, but play with this software and you can figure out what are all the best prompts that you want people to focus on and then sending your client, hey, here's a list of prompts you want to ask. And then it gives them all the info. I mean, this is game over. I'm doing that. Like that's fantastic.
And Jeremy, how would you like it if now you know what prompts they're putting in?
Exactly. Yeah. What are they
For
asking?
for example, and you get a transcript. What if they said, "Are these rates competitive in the market?" And boom, you're getting an answer. They're driving them back to you, but you know now, this consumer is shopping. You know what their concerns at, guys. So you want to rocket proof, you want to be level five, you need to be a coach. Because let's face it, rocket, brokers, Credit unions, they're going to compete on price, speed, inconvenience. By the way, those are table stakes. You need to have great price. You need to deliver great convenience. You need to deliver great speed, but you can do that. Everybody can do that now. But coaching at scale, being an advisor, and using AI to do that, using video to do that, never been more important if you want to be level five, level five. And by the way, Jeremy, if you want early access to that, shoot me an email. I'll get someone to turn it on when we go into the beta. This Thursday, we'll put a link to sign up. Paul, if you could put a link for anybody who wants to sign up for this Thursday's webinar, we're going to be unleashing this feature. It's not going to fully hit general market until July, but we are going to start turning people on next week in June. So I'll make sure you get early access, brother.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much. That is fantastic. I can't wait to mess with it.
All right, let's get tactical. So first half, rocket proof. Let's just rattle off in the next 5 minutes. Video, like if you want to be level five, you have to be using video. You have to,
Yep.
you don't need to be like a celebrity on social media, but you need to be a pro. You need to look professional. You need to deliver mortgage coach. You need to be a technician. You need to have a daily call list. What are some other just Jeremy Forcier bullet points in 3 minutes or less, and then let's get into strategies, scripts, loans now ideas.
You need to be creating referrals for your realtor partners. And I know that this is something that we don't like to say or talk about. And there's definitely, you've heard 100 million times, oh God, I hate realtors, or like, stuff like that. People say stuff like that. We really need to realize that we have to change the game on the mindset around real estate agents. Like I love working with realtors. Like I do, like, because I am valuable to them. I know I can help them close more transactions. And if we know that a big pain point in the market right now is realtors are not doing a lot of business, most, like 90% of them, right, are doing less business this year than they did last year. And if we know that, how can we help them fix that? Like, yes, we can give them ideas on how to generate. And I think that's extremely important. I'm doing a lot of education, webinars, stuff like that, videos to my realtors on how to generate some more business tactically, strategically. But what about not just like getting it for them? Like just get it for them. Figure out how you can get a big account for them, help them land a big account, teach them how to do that, and just give it to them. I mean, I am referring out left and right, Dave, listings left and right, like every single week. Like it's unbelievable right now. And don't think hyper local, but I also want you to think hyper local, serving those people, but serving their needs outside of hyperlocal. So like when I say hyperlocal, I'm talking about not just where I live, radius wise, like 30-mile radius in each direction. Hyperlocal to me is also my community, my database, my past clients, regardless of where they are, and making sure I'm super engaged with them and asking like what they're doing in the next 5 years. Are they thinking about buying another house? Dave, last week I got 4 of the 7 contracts that I got last week were out of state from my database, though, hyper local from my database. They're buying second homes that they're going to move into in 5 years after their kids finish school because they found the perfect place, right? They're moving because their 2 kids live in Minnesota and they decided that they wanted to be closer to them because they're about to have their first grandkid. So they're selling their places here in California. Like these little things of financial planners that I've landed, their clients are all over the place, right? So I have to serve, I'm doing a co-op in Brooklyn right now. Like there's so much opportunity when you serve hyper local, not just in your local community, but your database, your past clients, your friends, your sphere of influence. That's hyper local too. So staying crazy in touch and in front of all those people is so, 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 so important.
So write this down, guys. To thrive, not just to stay alive, to thrive going forward, you must own and win your database, and you must own and win locally. And when I say database, I think people need to reimagine what a database is. Yes, it's what's in your CRM and it's your call list, but it's social media too. Like social media and marketing, like they're no longer like two things. Like, oh, marketing is my database. It's, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, my social media strategy is over here. Guys, modern marketing is a complete convergence of social and what you do one to many. And by the way, how you use that one to many content to connect personally. Like a lot of the content I create, like right now, I'm doing a one to many for our Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, and this is going to deliver a lot of value globally. It's also going to deliver a lot of value to cross country, a very important client that Jeremy happens to work at. And then you know what? This video could also be used in the sales process where I'm having an individual client, a conversation with how to win in today's market, and I take a clip from this and I use it one-on-one. So remember, guys, modern marketing is a complete convergence of that. Any thoughts to that, Jeremy?
No, I love it. It's actually the first time I've heard it put that way, but I've always been a big believer in that everything should kind of fit together. Like I've never heard it articulated the way that you just said it. It's like, don't be different things on different platform, whatever. Like it be everything, like all the time. I think that's really, really, really important for everyone to hear. And I could do a better job of that too. Like making sure that everything is congruent, that it's representing exactly who I am. But social media is absolutely like a platform where that is your marketing. I have so many people that tell me that they saw this or they love that I did. Don't worry about the likes. Okay. Don't worry about, I mean, I have people tell me all the time and I'm like, gosh, I don't ever see them comment on anything or like it or nothing like that. And the algorithms change, just so you guys know, on social media. It'll just put you in front of the people that want to see the content, even if they're not following you. Like it's totally changed over the last
Yeah.
month.
And guys, I want to show you another thing. And Jeremy has seen me do this before, where I'll put something on social media and I'll tell him, hey, before we talk next, could you watch this? So by the way, guys, I did this post this morning, usually Monday, but Monday was a holiday. So this is my Monday post. It's a leadership message on LinkedIn. I'm in a one-to-many situation right now, and I'm telling you guys to go watch this. Go click on this. Go watch on this. So always think like this is the Air Force. Social media is the Air Force. Right now, we're having a one-to-many conversation. Think of this in your context like a realtor mastermind. Uh, but always be integrating, your social media, your emails, your videos into an experience. Now, by the way, guys, if you could actually go and click on that, give it a like, help boost the engagement of that. And I do recommend you watch it. It is a great leadership message that's completely on point. So, Jeremy, what are the last time I interviewed you a couple months ago, you had just said, hey, I did 8 million last month. I'm going to do 8 million this month, and half of my business is first time sellers. Is that
Yep.
still is that still a thing? Is that still rolling?
That's fallen off for me in the last 30 days. It's interesting. It's not because it's not an opportunity still, but it's way less right now. So I'm looking at my pipeline literally on this other screen here, and it looks like I have three. So I still have three. Okay, so still have three in contract, first time home sellers doing a buy before sell type situation. That's out of the 30 transactions, let's see that I've going. So that only makes up 10% right now. Okay. But that doesn't mean that it's still not the same big opportunity. First-time home buyers are winning right now in my market. So that's been a big shift for me, is that first-time home buyers are winning right now. And that's because we have higher inventory levels. We have stuff sitting on the market for a lot longer. Even though it's still a hot market and still tight, we are seeing stuff sit like on the market a lot longer. And there's a lot more to choose from. So I'm winning with first-time homebuyers right now, like the most. 10% still makes up, though, the first-time home sellers. So I still think that that's an incredible strategy as well. We're talking about it with a lot of agents. And, just to give you guys a tactic, like idea around like having a foundation, having lists, like on Tuesdays, for example, I do a pipeline meeting on Tuesdays. So I have my full pipeline, all notes, et cetera, where everyone's at, agent, buying agent, listing agent, contact information, borrower and co-borrower contact information, property address, lock date, close of escrow date, all the important milestones. And when I'm calling and going through all of these updates with every single person, I've had two listing agents last week ask me like, hey, it looks like you're really good at doing this like buy before sell. I know you're doing it on this client. I have a lot of like listings that are sitting of people that want to buy, and I have an appointment this week with one of them, one of the listing agents, to go through this is how we're doing it. So outbound communication and strategy is so important. And there are a lot of first-time home sellers that are having a hard time selling their house right now. Like, I would love to know in the chat in general, if you guys want to put in the chat, like, how's your inventory levels? Is it up or is it down? Is stuff sitting longer than it was 60 days ago? I'm seeing this as a trend nationwide, but I'm curious as to what you're seeing in your hyper local markets. It's happening in my market for sure. And we need to know what segments of the market are the hottest, right? Like which ones, and when I say the hottest, um, what are the hottest ones for us from an opportunity standpoint as far as getting into contract? And then what are the hottest ones, meaning the slowest, that there's an opportunity for us to maybe fix for and with our realtor partners?
So share in chat. By the way, I just shared an interview I did with Renee Rodriguez, with the author of a book called Hook Point, Brandon Kane. Paul Hurley said, "Hey, Dave, you should read the book." By the way, I need to reread the book because it's been a couple years, and this book is pure gold, guys. Like pure. I see Jeremy nodding. I have a feeling you've read Hook Point by Brandon.
Incredible book.
Yeah. Like, and by the way, whether you're calling, whether you're doing social media, whether you're doing emails, the hook always matters. Like having a great headline and a great hook, and it's something that you've never mastered it. You can always get better. I need to get better. So Jeremy, would it be safe to assume, like, if we listed the opportunities, rate and term refis, very low on the list of big opportunities this year,
Extremely low.
hopefully they'll show up before the year is out. Cash out refis, uh, still an opportunity, or harvesting equity. Um, Move down buyers, people that are selling, moving sideways or down, or out of state, lateral
Yep.
move. Move up, which first time home sellers probably is the best
It's
move
always a
up
move up.
buyer,
Yep.
because if they bought a house within the 3 to 7 years, they have equity and they want to move up. So there's a lot of new equity, new opportunity. Let's move up. And then first time home buyers. So it
Yep.
sounds like right now in the conversation you and I are having, it's first time buyers is the biggest opportunity for you. Would it be safe to assume number two is first time sellers?
No, I mean, I
What's
think
what's
that's
number
gone.
two? What's number
I,
two?
yeah, I think number two is actually moved down.
Oh, move down.
Right
Okay.
sizing, yeah, is number two. And then I'd say number three, tied for three. I know you can't tie for three, but I would say would be first time home sellers. Okay, like for sure. And this is just right now in this month. Like I told you, like the previous year to date, like first time home sellers, I was crushing. Right now, it's cooled down a little bit on that for me personally. So take this all with a grain of salt. Um, but I would say that, harvesting equity too. I mean, oh my gosh, the amount of fixed rate seconds that I'm doing is alarming. And I know that they're not big loans. And I've said this before on this, podcast interview series, Dave, like client for life means client for life. Like serve them. If they need a $50,000 fixed rate second, I'm doing it. If they need a $100,000 fixed rate second, I'm doing it. Yes, I always run the numbers to see, would it make sense if they paid off their first loan, at 3.5% and paid consolidated debt and did all these things. And the reality is usually it doesn't make sense to do that whenever I run the numbers. So there is a lot of fixed rate second home equity line of credit opportunity out there because people have a lot of debt. They have a lot of debt right now. And the economy is slow in a lot of sectors for individuals. They're not making the same overtime they made before. They're not making the same bonus commissions they made before. So making sure you're being a resource for them is like an absolute huge opportunity, not just for them, but asking for referrals from them and getting referrals from your community, from your sphere of influence.
Okay, so we are going into the fourth quarter within 5 minutes. I think we've covered, call it big picture, how to rocket proof yourself for the long haul. I think we've covered how to create some new opportunities. I would recommend everybody listening to this, like, what are your top 3 to 4 opportunities for your mortgage practice in your market right now? And then audit how you're executing on that from a raving fan perspective. Like if you are not creating wow, first of all, you're not rocket proof. Like that's the only way you're going to win as a local provider going forward. And the Jeremy Forciers, and in every market there are Jeremys, and people that are chasing Jeremy, and the loan officers that are status quo. Hey, here's your fee worksheet. I wait for the phone to ring. I wait for a referral. Like you need to go out and create those referrals. So Jeremy, I want to make sure we deliver on the promise. Before you came in here, I asked people like, what are their biggest problems?
Yeah.
And among the biggest problems were getting meetings with realtors. And we promised in the marketing of this that like, and I've asked you this question maybe 100 times. So we've got a lot of content. Like there's a Jeremy Forcier playlist. So there's a lot of more scripts. But right now, last week of May, 2025, what are you saying to get a meeting with a realtor?
Yeah. So here's one that I wrote last week, okay, that I tested out that worked pretty good. And it's as simple as this. Okay. So Dave is gonna you role play with me, Dave.
Of
Awesome.
course. Yeah,
So
let's
ring
go.
ring.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Dave? It's Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. How are you?
Yeah, busy John Smith realtor here.
That's awesome, man. Hey, the purpose of my call is have you closed as many transactions as you wanted to this year?
No, I don't know anybody who has.
Listen, would you like me to show you a way where you can close more moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
That's it, guys. Okay. So I tested it
How
last
tell me how
week.
that people are responding because you know, like has it
So I did that with 5 people last week, okay? And two of them were just rude and did it wouldn't have mattered if I said I had a winning lotto ticket to give to them. Okay. So you guys have
right?
to understand that that's normal. And I did these on cold calls, by the way. Okay. So these are cold calls that I did. And, but 3 of the 5 said absolutely interested. One booked an appointment. The other 2 told me to send them an email and follow up. They're super interested, curious what I have to say. So that's really easy. If the pain, okay, pain. Let's talk about pain for a second. Pain point selling is the most powerful way to sell. Pain point selling is the most powerful way to sell. Wolf of Wall Street, pain point selling. Now, I'm not condoning what he did. I'm just saying Jordan Belfort, pain point selling, right? Is if you know what the pain points are and you can help them and you can help solve a pain point, you are automatically more valuable to them. Automatically. So if we can identify what are pain points, here's another way to say the script. Hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. Listen, the purpose of my call is what's your 2 biggest pain points right now in the business?
Lack of inventory and people just confused whether they should buy right now. They're on the fence. My
Hey,
database
I have
is
it.
full of fence sitters.
I agree. The good news is that we're converting at a much higher level and we're helping our partners do it as well. I'd love to meet with you for 15 minutes. We can do it via Zoom if that's easier for you. And I can walk you through 2 strategies that you can take to your database. And I know that you're going to see results from.
Boom. Guys, give us a reaction. Remember we got these little reactions in Zoom. Did anybody love these scripts so far? But by the way,
So
guys, you could write these down right now and you could put this in the market. And I would urge you to like I've never heard a more simple script and 2 versions of that. Why not make some calls today and use our Facebook group, the Trust Engine Mastermind face or Mortgage Coach Mastermind group. We'll put a link to that. If you are not in that group, get into that Facebook group. We haven't been having as much engagement as we've had in the past in it. Let's get the engagement up. Let's like right now take this script to the market and test it. Paul Hurley said, "Oh, hey Paul, you're messaging the host and panelists. Maybe you wanted to, but feel free to be transparent. Share anything you have with everybody." What was the inspiration? Hey, did you read Paul's question here?
no,
Here, I'll
I'm not.
repost it. And everybody post anything and everything to everyone. I just reposted it, Jeremy.
Okay, so someone's asking about script. Did you? No, I listen. I just made that script up last week. It's so scripting to me isn't scripting. And I've gone over this in the past, you guys, is that when I used to say scripting, I always hated the idea of memorizing something and like, ugh, and then it sounded weird or I was reading it over the phone. And that is still better than nothing. It's good to do that. For me, scripting is this. Here's how you can all brainwash yourselves into creating any script for yourself. Just ask yourself, what's the problem I'm trying to solve? How would I solve it? Right? So now when you do that first, then you have the strategy. What's the problem I'm trying to solve? Write down the problem. How would I solve it? So now you already have the answer, because this is where LOs freak out, that I coach at least and that I manage, is that they always ask me, okay, well then what's the strategy though? Because you said you have a strategy. Like they're overthinking already to like the next thing that they have to know. If you do it backwards and you go, what's the problem I'm trying to solve? Write down the problem. All right, this person wants to close more transactions as a real estate agent. Cool. How am I going to help them solve that? Buy before sell, right? Video, listings, theme day calls. These are things that I have, right? That I've written down. These are all lead tracking leads, calling old leads, re-engagement, asking for referrals. How do you ask for a referral? So I have a playlist, right? And then when I get the script is just asking them, are they interested in strategies that will help them close more business? And then I have all these strategies that I've already written down in advance, right? That way you will be prepared, like in order to do that. But I find that the scripts that work the best, Dave, are the ones that are the most simple and to the point. They're not the long rambling talking scripts. It's if you notice the two ways that I use those scripts with Dave, they are literally less than 20 seconds from a full interaction standpoint. It gets right down to like a yes, no, or maybe right away. So when you're doing a call to action, that's what it is. It's a call to action, a yes, no, or maybe. Interested, super interested, not interested, right? In learning whatever it is it has to take. And then you can move on a lot quicker, right? So if you ever want to create great scripts for yourself, first identify the problem that you're trying to solve, then solve it. Now you have a strategy. Then you just call and ask them if they're interested in learning about the strategy that could help them. If they say yes, then you have a strategy you can talk about. It's really that simple.
Love this. So a couple things. So one, we put links to the Facebook group. Share a success story this week. If something that you've learned works, share it. I've also put my mobile club, the Savage Insider Mobile Club, 949-799-0837. Sign up for that. Like if you want to be the most elite modern mortgage advisor, like data-driven mortgage coach, like follow that. I share something weekly there. Jeremy, one of the scripts I want to have you dial in is now that we have this mortgage coach AI enabled TCA, I want to play a script. So one of our alpha users has had this for about a week, Ryan Kiefer, and here's his script of how he's now sharing it with a consumer. I want to hear the Jeremy Forcier version. So guys,
Okay.
this is think about when you get this AI feature, this is how you'll be positioning it for a consumer. This is how Ryan's doing it.
Hey Dave, I just shared your total cost analysis with you. This compares your top loan options over time so that you can make a confident decision for both you and your family in regards to your new home purchase. Now, you might be wondering how to interpret, some of the details on here or what the best choice might be for you both over the short and the long term. So to help out with that, we now have a built-in chat assistant right inside the analysis. So what most people like to do is just use it to get some quick and simple explanations. Things like, what's my break even on this option versus that option, or which one is the most cost effective over this amount of time, etc. So go ahead, give it a try, ask it anything. And of course, I'm still here if you want to talk through it together.
So Jeremy, well, one, any coaching feedback to that, and then two, what would you do?
I think that's incredible, and I can't wait to get my little paws on it. A couple things I thought of when I was listening to it. Number one, I thought Ryan did an excellent job because it was very clear on explaining like what it is, et cetera. How I would maybe format it, just for me personally, slightly different, would be explaining to them what it is, but why it's important, right? Like, so I didn't get the why it's important part. Like I'd be like, hey, This is what it is. You can interact with it. You can ask it questions. The reason why this is so important is that you need to be able to ask questions when they pop in your head, right? Like in real time so that you don't forget. You can ask this absolutely anything that you want. And when you do ask it, I would love to go over it with you, right? If it's clear or not clear, let's schedule a time to go over it. And then, as I said before, Dave, I would also add in like, hey, I created like a list of, 10 prompts that you can ask it that I think are going to be most beneficial for you, because sometimes you don't know what to ask. You don't know exactly what to look for. So here's like a quick list that I've made of like 10 questions that you can ask the interface, and then let me know what you think. And if you have further questions, details, let's hop on a Zoom and go over it together. That's like the only thing I would change.
Here's what I want to do. I want to get a clean version of that. And by the way, if you are in the Savage Insiders Mobile Club, I will forward this out. We'll make a little micro video. But I want to get a Jeremy Forcier how you're going to frame a mortgage coach total cost analysis. So kind of like integrate what you already say, like pretend that you were on Zoom with someone and you're going to forward this link. What would you say? Just give us something really clean that we could create some micro content out of.
Cool. So you're saying that, so I want to make sure I understand the context, right? So I'm on Zoom right now with a client. You're a client.
How would you rather do it? You're on Zoom and now you're sending the TCA with the link, or would you rather like you talk to them over the phone, you put it together? What's the most common use case way in which you're forwarding a mortgage coach
Let's do
TCA?
both. So I'm just going to do the end transition to whether I'm on a Zoom or on a call. Okay. So like either way, I'm just going to do end transition and then video. This is what it's going to sound like. Okay. So the end of a transition, whether I'm on a phone call or a Zoom, almost always sounds something like this. Dave, it was great meeting with you. I answered all your questions. I'm kind of paraphrasing because I've asked multiple times. Do you have any other questions? Is there any other questions? So we're past that. Okay, guys. So Dave, it was awesome meeting with you. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a total cost analysis, which is going to be a video presentation of some of the things that we talked about in strategies, et cetera. There's going to be a video of me in the corner walking you through it. And you might have questions when you're watching it. Here's what's great is that you can interact with it and you can ask questions in a chat screen within it, and it will answer your questions. So you can ask things like, hey, what's the best program on here for me if I'm going to live in the house for 10 years? You could ask it like, what's the lowest cost option? You could ask it, if I'm going to refinance in 12 months, like which option would be most cost effective to me? So you can ask it any of these questions that you want and get answers. And then I would love to go over and review that with you and make sure it's in alignment with what your long-term strategy is. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. Feel free to forward it to me, of course, as well, but use it when things pop in your head to see what it says. And then that way you can ask me better questions to create the best clarity for yourself. That's
All
how.
right, everybody. The future of lending, it's here. It's here now. All you need to do is be a mortgage coach. Make sure when you're meeting with clients, as Jeremy says, and you'll hear him talk more throughout this event, it's all about the speed of the decision, helping the consumer make the right decision at the right time. And you saw that, you listened to that script and how he's positioning Mortgage Coach with the AI. Later on in today's call, he's going to walk you through this total cost analysis, which is, by the way, just a brilliant strategy. He says, every time I talk to a customer, and they tell me what they think rates are at, whether or not that's the rate I can actually get them or not, I put that here. Remember, I'm giving them options, helping them make a decision. Jeremy will give you a script later on in today's call around how to use this specific total cost analysis. But this is might be what they're getting quoted by someone with a lower rate than you. And then he's showing it in different increments. When he does the script later on, he tells you that, hey, this was actually what my rate was at the time. And then you show the future refi. Guys, like winning in today's market has never been more clear. Like you can't control rates, but you can control how you deliver the rates to the consumer in a way that optimizes your conversion, wins with rate shopper, improves gross margin. But you got to have mortgage coach. So truly, stay on this whole interview, watch the whole thing. It's amazing. His last two scripts and strategies were amazing. So don't miss a bit of it. But if you're not a mortgage coach, get signed up today. You can go to our website, get signed up for Mortgage Coach. If you are an executive and you do not have Mortgage Coach built into your tech stack, your loan officers are just not equipped to future-proof their careers and to win at the highest level in today's market. So go to our website, sign up. There'll be links down below. Remember, I told you there's one master link and all the links that we mentioned. There's a link to sign up as an individual loan officer, and there's a link to get scheduled to have a demo to see Mortgage Coach Next Gen, where we're using data, we're automating the creation of that Mortgage Coach experience. It's wrapped with AI for both the borrower and the loan officer, and you can coach at scale and win at scale. All right, let's get back to Jeremy.
That's how I would structure it and send it off.
Oh, and where would that be different in Zoom or any other format? Or it's going to be the same anyway?
I would do it the same way. Like it's just a transition statement, right? Of what basically you always want to tell everyone, what's the next thing that you are going to do? What's the next, always end your conversations with, what's the next thing that I'm going to do for you? You don't have to say it exactly that way. You can, but that's what I'm doing. I'm telling Dave, consumer, et cetera, here's the next thing that I am doing for you. I'm doing for you. I'm going to send you this. You can interact with it this way. You can ask it these things. So you always want to give next steps to someone rather than no steps and just sending them something. And if you have a question, let me know, right? That's weak. Like you want to have it.
Yeah. And it's a lot better than a fee worksheet. Here's your rate. Here's your payment. Here's your cash to close. Now you're giving people options. You're giving people solutions to concerns that they have, and you're letting them individualize that. So, Jeremy, we got 6 minutes left. Anything you want to make sure we close out this session? Any other scripts, other ideas, things that you think the audience would want to hear?
100%. So what I'd love to do is share like my screen, if that's okay, and go through, because this is a question I get a lot, is I think that people have forgotten how easy it is to pre-qualify someone inside Mortgage Coach. Like, so when you guys are on the phone with people, speed to quote unquote, I'm going to say decision. Okay, so follow me here. Speed to decision, not speed to lead anymore, speed to decision is very, very important. Okay. So when we look at like, this is a first-time home buyer, okay, that I was on a Zoom with on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And when you go in and like in the assumptions tab, I put in their current rent, right? This is me talking to them while I'm on Zoom with them. Hey, so what's your current rent? Cool. That's great. Affordability, like what's your, annual gross income? Okay, great. Do you have any other debts? No, he doesn't have any other debts. Okay. Paid off his student loans, doesn't have a car payment, et cetera. Okay, great. What's your savings balance? Between 401k, stock, savings, et cetera. Cool. Gave it to me. Right. And he wants to know what he's qualified for. And what's great about this is that when I'm running these numbers, like he originally wanted to look at 400,000, no more than 600,000. So if you guys see this here that I'm circling right here, this DTI, this is how you can pre-qualify people live. Like it literally, you enter in their debts, you enter in what they say. I told this guy, like, hey, you are not going to have any problem at all getting pre-approved. You are pre-qualified right now. Lenders like to look at debt to income ratios under, 43%, max 50%. You're at 23, right? You are so good, and you can give them real feedback in pre-approving, pre-qualifying people. And the reason why this is important to do, you guys, is that people need something to celebrate quickly. Like people want instant gratification. So I'm using this like to pre-qual people really easily on the phone. If you don't know what to ask them, all you have to do is follow the assumptions here in the Mortgage Coach TCA. It tells you what to ask. What's your current rent, right? It tells you what to ask. What's your current gross monthly income? So if you have ADD and you're like, oh man, I just go all over the place and I forget to ask the right things, you just have to follow this. And then it literally will tell you what to ask so that you can pre-qualify and give people instant real feedback. Now, this is what I ended up going over with this individual, right? And I made this while I was on the Zoom with him, just as a baseline to show him, like, here's your rent compared to a 400,000, 500,000, or a $600,000 purchase, right? And I got to walk him through all of the numbers on, what the gross payment is versus the net payment. after the tax benefit and the principal paid per his tax bracket, which once again, you can look up by just following like these assumptions tab, right? And affordability. Like it's really, really, really easy. Tax bracket. It has it right here. I don't know what his tax bracket is. Oh, that's cool. Why don't you just press the tax bracket button? That's what I always do. And then it pulls it up and I looked it up. So if you just follow it, it gives real-time information. And this individual was shocked as to how qualified they were as a first-time homebuyer, right? They were shocked as to how qualified they were, especially when we got into the nitty-gritty of paying down principal, showing him what his net worth would be over 20 years, right? If he were to purchase a house rather than renting, like what that looks like from just appreciation using a 4% appreciation rate. So these are the things that can make a really big difference when you're on the phone, pre-qualifying people, et cetera. Just use the tools that are right in front of you to give real-time feedback and give them something to celebrate, right? Give them something to celebrate in the moment when you first have them on the phone.
So guys, Mortgage Coach Total Cost Analysis is the only piece of technology and platform that has pricing data. Like it integrates with pricing engines, accurate, compliant pricing data, integrates with loan manufacturing platform, your LOS, has the customer's goals, has the customer's assumptions of how they think the market's gonna like if you're not like you have to create demand. By the way, Jeremy, will you forward that total cost analysis?
Yeah, sure.
Well, if you're watching this, thank you, Scott Nicholson, for donating housing.link in the notes. There'll be a housing.link platform. All the links that we've mentioned today will be in that link. But guys, you now have an opportunity to put clients' assumptions, clients' goals, accurate pricing data in one place. And then I love the term you use, AI hack it. Like
Yeah.
give the consumer the power and you as the loan officer the power to engage with that, interact with that with AI. Coming soon. Make sure you sign up for the webinar coming up. Jeremy, you absolutely crushed it, bro. As always,
Thanks.
I promise anybody that signs up for Savage Insiders will get 2 videos today. You'll get one that is that script on how to position Mortgage Coach as the AI feature comes out. And we'll also give you this, I'm going to call it speed to decision with first time buyers with Jeremy Forcier. So that
Call
will
it,
be
call it, call it speed to celebration.
okay. We'll take that into consideration.
Do it.
Brother,
Hey,
appreciate you,
thank
man.
you. You're awesome. Listen, I want to get on your calendar again because I had 9 other windows open with stuff I wanted to share. I
Oh,
have a
well, let's
whole,
go. Let's
I
get,
have a,
you guys want more from Jeremy?
I mean,
So,
I know that we're ripping here, but like, I have a whole how to AI proof your business
well,
presentation that I've
wait a
created.
minute. Wait a minute. Okay, time out, guys. Paul, let's get how to AI proof your business with Jeremy Forcier. Let's figure out a date. We'll do that via email. Guys, give us a little reaction as you leave. What'd you think of today's call? And any questions you have for Jeremy, put those in our Facebook group. I'm going to start a little thread where we are preparing for Jeremy's How to AI Proof Your Business. Put your questions in that thread, and then Jeremy and I will be back at you before you know it
Hey,
with
Dave,
some thoughts. Huh.
do you guys have, do you have just 2 more minutes? I'm sorry. If you
Two
don't,
more minutes. I got
we
two
can
more
hop
minutes.
off.
Let's go.
I want to leave the 112 people that are still hanging on here, which means that everyone's super engaged, like with a couple of like tactics on how I'm using Mortgage Coach, like outside of the qualifying. So this one is a question that came up a couple times in chat, and it was like rate shopping, like how are you dealing with it, et cetera. So I want to give you a really, really good example here on this is a borrower, okay, that I spoke with last week who is great. We had a great, so remember, PAR is you have a great conversation with them. Everything went well. They're going to fill out the app. She had a lot of questions. She's a first-time home buyer on her own, divorced, et cetera. And you know, she had mentioned that like, hey, you know, what's your rate? Which is, we all know, we get that, right? She's like, hey, so what's your interest rate? You know, I see that rates are 6.45%. Well, I mean, who knows what that means or where she read it or what program or anything. But I want to point this out to you. Whenever someone tells me, hey, they say they know that rates are X, like if that's a red flag you have to address. If someone says, hey, I know rates are 6.45, okay? Like, It wasn't when I priced it out with her scenario, just so you know. Okay. But what I do is that I always start with the first column with what she said. Okay. Like I just do. Show them rather than trying to make them feel dumb, like they don't know. Just show them. So I opened this video that's down here in the bottom with like, hey, it was great to chat with you. Congratulations, you're fully pre-approved. You can make offers with no contingencies. Listen, I created this video presentation to walk you through payment ranges, whether rates go down or whether they go up, stay the same, so you know how interest rate movements affects your monthly payment. So in the first column, I showed you if the rate when you buy happens to be 6.45%. I just want to pause there, guys. That's the script when you're walking people through this. If the rate happens to be 6.45%, because they change every day, right? Your payment would be X, right? If the rate happens to be 6.65, when you go into contract, the payment will be Y. If the rate happens to be 6.95, which it was on the day that I did this last week, okay, like your payment would be 42. So then I'm just showing them that basically for every 0.25%-ish, 0.2, 0.3% movement, you're less than $100 a month difference, whether it moves up or down, right? That way you can budget appropriately, right, for your purchase. And then I'm still always, Dave, showing the future casting refi of if and when the interest rates go down, which we will monitor, this is what your monthly payment will be at some point in the future when we hit this target rate. So by walking people through rate shopping wise with what they say they know or they think the interest rate is, start there, but then you get to explain how things move all the time. And you give them a range to understand not what the rate is, but how does movement affect monthly payments, right? Like that's really what's most important. So that's a really, really big one on rate shopping, is making better connection that way. You're never going to get every single one no matter what, but I minimize it through that. And the last thing I wanted to share, Dave,
Hey,
was
real quick, I want
yeah,
to call that, and you feel free to edit this, but to me, that was speed to clarity with rate
yes,
shoppers.
yep,
So
100%,
the rate shopper speed to clarity TCA.
yep,
Okay,
100%.
make sure you share that with us. Okay,
Yep, I
do
will.
another
I'll
one.
share all of these with you. And then this last one is a strategy on you. Like someone asked in the chat, like, can you share some of your strategies on how you're helping agents, right? Like, what are some of them? Well, here's one. When I'm asking agents what their pain point is, right? So this was a realtor I work with, David. He's awesome. And I was like, hey, what's a pain point for you right now, in your business? He's like, man, I got these guys, they want to buy, but they're so afraid to give up their current rate. They've put it on hold. And all I said was, hey, tell me about the situation. He told me this is what I can sell their house for. This is how much they're going to net, right? And they want to purchase at, around $1.8 million. And I said, listen, is there a property that they're interested in? Yes, they would accept the contract. I go, can you ask the seller if would they give a 3% credit? Okay. Would they? And he did. And they said that they would give a 3% credit. So I never even talked to these borrowers, by the way, but I made this for my realtor to send to them, right? I said, here's a $1.8 million purchase using the full credit to buy down the interest rate to 5.375% on a permanent buy down because they're payment sensitive, right? This is what your payment would be. This is what your cash to close is. They're going to net just 900,000 from the sale of their house. Okay. And then I talked them through a 2-1 buy down. Here's how you can also use the credit for a 2-1 buy down, right? Where for the first 2 years, you're under market interest rate, and then it moves up to 5.75% in the third year. And so I sent this to the agent who then forwarded it to the client and CC'd me on it. And now I have that client pre-approved. Now it didn't move the needle. They were still scared. They were like, you know what? Thank you. This is awesome. We'll get pre-approved, but we're still going to wait. But now I got the introduction to the client, right? And now I got them pre-approved for a future transaction. So these are ways that you can use MortgageCoach to solve realtors' pain points and help them with it. Create the content for them, have them forward it to their sellers, their buyers, etc. This is a really easy way to use awesome technology that you have to create some more conversations and some more leads.
All right, guys. So it looks like we have more micro lessons to create. We'll get a few of them shared through Savage Insights by the end of the day. I put a link to go through the modern mortgage IQ assessment. Make sure you know where you stack up in all the pillars of being a modern mortgage advisor. I will also work with Jeremy to create a guided experience that we put into the Modern Mortgage IQ platform. So stay tuned for that. And Jeremy, you still game with getting on the schedule with how to AI proof your business and all the ways
Yeah.
you're using AI. All right, guys. Dude, you killed. Hope everybody got value. Have a great day, everybody. And until next time, let's
Thanks,
go.
everyone.